I was looking for camping gear and was going to just look for a park and live in an encampment.
Had it not been for the kindness of a community member who offered them a spare room, Kelly says they would have been homeless 2 years ago. A note to our viewers, Kelly's name has been changed and their identity is being protected for privacy.
This individual kind of really saved me out of a really dire situation. Given various disabilities, it could have just led to my death.
Kelly has been on ODSP for more than 15 years.
It's never been sufficient in helping me sort of build any sense of security or safety. Currently, it's just over $1,300 for a single person, and when we see the rental prices by contrast to being $2,500 on average for a one-bedroom, it's never been sufficient.
The ODSP rate is below what is considered the poverty line by all Canadian measures.
The executive director of the Canadian Centre for Housing Rights says they are no longer able to help people on ODSP secure housing.
10 years ago, there were still some cases in which we would phone landlords and we could negotiate with them, but the prices have just gotten out of reach.
Kelly says the stigma surrounding those who receive social assistance also impacted their search for housing.
What was really hard was trying to combat the sort of stereotypes and rhetoric around welfare recipients not being quote-unquote civil or contributing members of society, or worse, criminals or drug addicts.
Landlords are very, very, very cautious, and they're using very specific identifiers to determine what type of ideal tenant they want. And it does cause barriers for many people.
Munira Ravji is a realtor who has had some success finding housing for social assistance recipients, but admits it takes a lot more legwork to convince landlords of their suitability.
What I do is really spell out the character of the individual, their caseworker, leaders at community organizations. I think it's really important for these people to come together as allies and help build the character of that potential tenant. There are a lot of landlords in Toronto that want to work with people on the human side.
But she says larger systemic change is the only long-term solution. Hodgins agrees.
The government is not focusing on building affordable and supportive and social housing to the extent that we actually need.
It's also important to remind ourselves that just because certain social services and programs exist, it doesn't mean that it's functioning or that it's effective.
Dilshad Burman, City News.